Welcome back to So You Want a Podcast, strategies for growing your business. You've been naked together. This is why you should podcast for your business, reason number one. No, seriously, when you're a podcast host, you will probably be naked with your podcast listener. I listen to podcasts in the shower and in the bathroom in the morning while I get ready, and I bet you do too. Now, this happens because the average podcast listener invests around 5 hours and 7 minutes per week listening to their favorite shows. They listen at home, in their car, while they are walking, at work, and at the gym. You, the podcast host, are in their ears in so many different locations and a lot longer than someone who's on a video. They can hear your actual voice, unlike in some blog they decided to read. And you have a lot of time in a podcast to be real, personal, authentic. You can share stories. You can tell your potential client who you really are and make a connection. Think about it. You are literally millimeters away from someone's eardrum. That's very intimate. After a few 15 to 30-minute episodes, that is a lot of intimate hours with your listener. The best description of this I've ever heard came from Elizabeth DiAlto. Her website is untameyourself.com. In an interview with my podcast client, Katie Krimitsos, Elizabeth talked about her connection with her listeners. At one point saying, "I'm literally hanging out with you in your bra while you're curling your hair in the morning." Hilarious, right? But it's also a deep connection. They are naked and vulnerable while you're talking to them, literally and figuratively. And if you're also sharing your own vulnerable stories, maybe the reasons you were inspired to start your business, or stories of people you've helped, that's pretty powerful. A lot more powerful than watching a 3-minute cat video while you sit on the toilet. Think about it another way. If you are spending hours hanging out with someone, at their house, in their car, at the gym, while walking around, how long would it take you to build a real bond with them? To know, like, and trust them? Not long at all, right? And not only that, but the average podcast listener, besides listening to 5 hours and 7 minutes a week, they're subscribing to at least 6 shows. And when someone subscribes to a podcast, that actually means that your content, your show, is pushed to their smartphone or other device, whatever they're listening on. So unlike video or blog, they don't really have to seek you out. They're connected to you. So let me give you an example of this in action. I mentioned Katie before. Katie Krimitsos, host of Biz Women Rock. Her site is bizwomenrock.com. She's a business strategist and coach. She's one of thousands of business consultants and coaches out there trying to find clients. They're all running Facebook ads, staying active on social media. Almost all of them build their email lists by offering freebies on their websites and then communicate regularly via email. Well, Katie's different. How did she build one of the largest online communities of women business owners in the US? And how does she convert a huge number of them into clients? Through her podcast. Her clients trust her before they ever hire her because they've spent hours listening to her authority and expertise on her podcast. They gain clarity on her thinking and experience. Katie gets to paint the picture of how life can be for her listeners if they do the things she talks about. Her listeners get the experience of seeing behind the curtain, and it makes it easier for them to understand her offers and the value she delivers. Because of her podcast, Katie is always talking with warm leads who want to listen and learn about what she has to offer them. I started this show to help you create a successful podcast that builds your community, grows your business, and increases your influence. And when I work one-on-one with businesses to help them create, craft, launch, and grow their own podcasts, I find that the most crucial step is the launch. And too often, most podcasts just get thrown out into the world without a strategic launch plan. So that's why I'm giving you my podcast launch formula that I use with all of my Done For You podcast clients. To download this PDF, go to dannyosmond.com/podcast-launch-formula. That's dannyosmond.com/podcast-launch-formula. Once you download it, you'll also see a video with me explaining it step by step. So thanks again for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next episode.